What are some signs that a relationship has run its course? If you find that you can only relax and be yourself when they aren't around, crushing you with the weight of their silent judgment and disapproval, it's way past the expiration date. You've bottled your real feelings up so much that now everything they do or say fills you with contempt. LOL. Oops. There is no more communication exchange. You always feel like the next thing you say will cause another fight. When you go to AskReddit to see if sexting is considered cheating. When you don't care if she leaves or not. Dealing with this right now. I love her and want to be with her, but she has some mental health issues that she's not willing to get help for. She threatens to leave and I just say goodbye and walk away. When you realize she's not your girlfriend anymore, just a shitty roommate. When you turn the corner driving home, and feel disappointment when you see her car in the driveway, because you know the minute you step in the door she's going to start crapping on you again. FYI to anyone reading through this, a good portion of replies here are also totally normal occurrences in any long-term relationship. There is an ebb and flow to being with someone for many years. Some days you may want to hang out and others where you want to be left alone. Oftentimes you can go several days without having a noteworthy conversation. Just because something like this occurs doesn't mean your relationship is doomed. What it may mean is that you need to put some effort into sparking things back up. I've had the personal experience of finding venomous spiders in my underwear drawer, and it was a telltale sign that I hadn't taken my wife out to dance in a few weeks. After putting in a bit of effort, my wife and I felt like we had just started dating. I no longer had to fear amputation of my nethers. From personal experience, the biggest indicator is when tensions should be high, you should be upset or arguing, but you just don't care anymore. When you can't make yourself trust them again no matter how hard you try. When you start fighting about a lot of meaningless things. In many cases, I'd say it's a manifestation of the hesitation to deal with the quite harsh truth that you no longer feel that you want to be with the person. Having to face the fact that the person you've been so close to, the person you've shaped your future with, the person you sacrificed a lot for, the person you might have introduced to your friends, etc., is really difficult. So it's easier to say that your exasperation with the person is because they didn't do X. Several, but off the top of my head. The sight of them does nothing for you. Getting a text or phone call from them elicits an eye roll. You try to avoid them. You cannot hold a conversation with them because everything they say is irritating. You really could not care less about their day or anything they have to say to you. You find yourself fantasizing of a life without them, and it makes you smile. You know, just to name a few. The nature of the relationship changes. There's nothing as exciting as a new love, there's nothing as comfy as an old love. Don't confuse that change with the end of a relationship. It's when you just don't want to be around them anymore that the end has come. When you catch yourself lying often. When you're hiding who you are around them because you don't want to fight or disappoint them. Oh, and when you won't fuck each other anymore. When you see spending time with them as a chore, and look forward to when your interactions are over. When all you can think about is how different you are. When you're lying or making excuses to not be with them. When they go on a spring break trip and screw a guy she went to high school with repeatedly for a week. When someone says your so's name and you give a sigh or a grimaced look on your face. When you realize that your partner will never be willing to put in the work to make the relationship succeed. And if when planning the future, it's not feasible to maintain your relationship while also continuing towards your dreams and end goals. Contempt. I took a marriage and family course in college and their professor said that's one of the biggest signs things are going to / should end. And I've 100% been there. When you discover irreconcilable differences. Relationships take a lot of work. There will be times when you don't want to be together, or when you're not sexually in sync, or whatever. Those things need to be worked through and your relationship will be stronger for it. The red flag I would watch out for is inherent differences in morality, beliefs, that kind of thing. If you no longer want to spend time with them and would rather be doing other things. There's a voice in your head that says you know it's over. Every time my relationship has been ending, I have had this happen. Sometimes you fight it, sometimes you don't. But the voice is always right in the end. When you come home after work and no one is home and 90% of everything in the house is gone. Happened twice. When you go on Reddit and ask what are some signs that a relationship has run its course. You can't see love coming, but you can see it leaving from a mile away. When everything about your life is being controlled down to the tiny details. General apathy in my experience. From one or both sides, either can kill it. Apathy and stubborn behavior, e.g. I don't hurt you yet I still don't want to be with you. I also don't care enough to do anything about either feeling. When you notice that your partner doesn't miss you, or vice versa, after being separated for a while. If you've been apart for a couple weeks or longer and your partner still feels no particular urgency to see you or talk to you, then the relationship is dead. Finding yourself coming up with excuses or reasons to do stuff away from them. For me, it was learning to get up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym, be back in my own apartment by 5:30 and get 2 hours of video game time in because I needed it for my mental health. We broke up not too soon after I started trends like that. You used to think their little quirks and habits were adorable, now they are just annoying AF. Amazed at everyone describing literally hating your partner in the comments, that is not a sign of a relationship having run its course, that's a sign that you missed your cue to leave. When either of you whip out your phone constantly when together. Can't hold a moment of comfortable silence to appreciate you both being in each other's presence. When spending time is something you have to give effort to actively think about and plan out as opposed to something you look forward to and excitedly long for. I know that's what it was for me. She became a block in my schedule instead of the reason my schedule existed. When you start to ask this question in your mind when you look at your partner. He is just a friend, you don't have to worry about them. Spends more time with friend than partner. Might sound lame because of the memes, but my almost 6 years so cheated on me and now is dating the friend. When you realize you don't wish the best for her/him, you don't wish her/him any harm either, just disinterested in building something better together. When you're physically in the same room, but it feels as though the other person isn't there, that their thoughts and emotions are somewhere else. If you feel you are not given the same level of attention you used to get and also you feel you deserve better. You both start arguing more and more often to the point that y'all end up in a shouting match. Life lesson: just because both parties love each other a lot, does not mean the relationship will last. When little things are bothering you. Things that never mattered before. Also the classic sign of wondering if the relationship has run its course. You set up a burner Reddit account to ask questions about ending the relationship. When you prefer your alone time over actually being with them. When you just don't care enough to argue anymore. When you realize you no longer share anything in common anymore, from general tastes to life goals. When you envision your life without them. When you start to make decisions for yourself rather than as a couple. When you stop kissing. When I realized that even though we still fucked like rabbits, but had stopped kissing, I knew it was over. If you don't care about the other one anymore, if you love them, you feel something. If you are fighting and you are angry, you feel something. But if you haven't seen them for a day and think like, yeah, that's okay, I don't mind/care, then it's mostly a sign that the relationship is over. Or at least it was in my past. When the butterflies vanish and you feel sick at the thought of coming home to them. My then husband did not go to my father's funeral with me and ripped me a new asshole after when the guy I dated in high school, many years before at that point, showed up just to see if I was okay. When you realize that person does not have your back, it's over. When you're not enjoying your time around them anymore. There's a difference between wanting a night away or a strong life outside of your relationship and full-on disliking their company. When really hope for one of two things: 1, they die in some kind of painless way that is completely out of your control, i.e. lightning strike. 2, You hope you win the Powerball so you can give the other a decent chunk of money and still live the life you always wanted. It's weird, I know, but I used to think about this a lot when I was married to my addict ex. Man, I'm really happy to not be reminded and belittled for not being perfect all the time.